All right, friends. So I love to do these kind of videos. I thought about tagging this onto the last video I did with empties and realized that that was going to be too long of a video. Now, I love a good long video, but every once in a while, we got to give the people a break. So I'm splitting it up here, and I have just a few things that I will definitely not be buying. I think it's definitely, we shall see, hold me to it, in the coming year, and then some items that I'm going to give myself permission to buy as much as I want to and as frequently as I want to. So let's start with the no's and then we'll go to the yeses. And I would encourage you to drop yours down in the comments. Maybe if you don't want to think about like a whole long list, what is one thing you definitely will not be buying any more of in the coming year, or you hope not to buy more of? And what's one thing that you're just going to give yourself permission to purchase and enjoy as your fancy allows and wishes for? So not buying. Let's talk about backups. So I was lucky enough to be able to give some of my fragrance backups away in a recent giveaway that I did on my other channel. And I realized that I have a lot of backups of products. And so by that, I mean backups of like personal care items, shower items, things of that nature that I realize is probably just taking up a lot more space than it needs to. And the reason that I have purchased backups, and it goes with the second thing that I'm not going to buy any more of, or try not to buy any more of, is I will see them on sale. And I'll be like, well, if I need one, then I'll need four. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. I always need to have deodorant on backup because your girl's not going to be out here smelling funky for the people. I need toothpaste on backup because the mouth has to be straight, and some kind of shower gel or soap on backup. Like, I'm just not going to be without those items. I don't need 10,000 of them. I can do with one or two things, like to back up so I never run out. And as those start to get low, I can get another backup, that kind of a thing. So I'll give myself permission for those. But there are some other items that I went a little bit crazy on because they were on sale and I got too many of. I'm still going to use them, and I have been making my way through them, but the purchasing in bulk mentality is a little bit nutty for me. An example is face cream, particularly Tatcha products. I went bananas in the fall Tatcha sale. There was a sale on their website, and y'all, Rakuten, if you're not using Rakuten or one of those like cashback things on your browser, friends, get with that. Because as you go to a site to shop, if they have any cashback, the little Rakuten thing, if you have it as an extension on your Chrome browser, it'll drop down and say, like Macy's is doing 15% cash back. Now, mind you, that may feed into your shopping frenzy if you're someone that's prone to that. So just keep that in mind. I like to know if I'm getting extra cash back, and it helps me make shopping decisions. But where I'm going with this Tatcha thing is Tatcha was, I think, 20% off on their site, and there was an additional 10 or 15 or something percent off through Rakuten. So I went a little crazy because I know Tatcha is super pricey, and purchased multiples of things that I also then turned around and purchased in the Sephora sale at 20% off because I forgot that I had an order coming. And I don't remember which was first. Did the Sephora came first and then the Tatcha, or the Tatcha and then the Sephora? But the point is, did I really need 4 things of overnight indigo repair cream? Or could I have just had one, maybe one backup? Maybe one, if I didn't want to be without it. The thing with the cream, the face cream, is I had umpteen number of night creams in particular, the heavier ones that I might not wear during the day, but I would readily wear at nighttime when I wanted to go to bed, like my glazed donut self. So I want to be a little bit more sort of just aware of what I'm purchasing in that sense of things. I don't need 10 eye makeup removers from Sephora. I can just have the one that I'm using and maybe one on backup. The truth is, it takes me weeks and weeks to go through one. So if I see the backup is getting pulled out to be put out on the counter to use, I can then order the backup at that point. You know what I mean? I don't need 6 of them sitting there just because I got a few dollars off in a sale. Like, I guess my point is, I don't want to be that pressed about saving money in a sale that I end up buying in bulk when I just don't really need to. I'm going to buy it later. It'll be there later. It's not going anywhere. In the meantime, I can sort of create less clutter in my linen closet by having a pared down set of backup products. Make sense? Okay. Same thing with makeup. Like, I might like this lipstick and fall in love with it. I don't need a backup of a lipstick because I got a lot of lipstick. I'm never, going to get down to this enough that I have to rush and go into the backup. I have other colors that I can use. You get the idea. One place where that isn't true is products that I have all over the house. An example is like the Laneige slip mask. Did I say slip? I meant sleep. The sleep mask. And then the Tatcha Kissu slip mask. I just did it again. Slip. The Tatcha Kissu lip mask. This is a special edition for no reason. I mean, it's purple for no reason, just because it wants to be cute. because it comes in a container that actually looks like this. My point is, I buy multiples of these to have in most of the rooms that I hang out in the house, so I don't have to run up and downstairs to get them. They're there and ready for me when I need them. So these two are sitting down here in my filming room for me here. So that's an exception. So back to the backups thing, a version of that, a flavor of buying too much of something is the buy one, get one free idea. Let me tell you who gets me with this. Although I have to say, I haven't like fallen prey to it, but I click in every time and look. Max Aroma does these buy one, get one free sales on fragrances. Fragrances ain't cheap, as you know, especially a lot of the newer fragrances on the market. They come on hot and pricey. You know what I mean? They want a car payment. They want a half of a mortgage payment or something for a fragrance. And so I'll go on there like, Initio, buy one, get one free. Mind you, I have all of the Initios that I think I want, but there are certain houses that I would like to explore more. And so I'm like, well, if I get this one at $400 and I get this one, and that's free, that makes each of them $200. While that may be true, the fact of the matter is I would not have wanted either one to begin with if it wasn't for the buy one, get one sale. Like I would have just never thought about them, you know? Now, I'm not saying I'll never fall prey to that, but I just want to not do that as much, like not think about that as much. And the same thing goes anywhere else. I might be at Costco. I might be at this other store or this place or this online place, and it'll be buy one, get one free. Well, maybe I didn't want the first one to begin with. So why would I want a second one free? Just because of the sale thing? The exception is if it's something that I've had my eye on that goes on sale, that's another conversation. But if it's not something I would have thought about buying, I really need to kind of second guess myself and go, pump the brakes on that purchase. You never wanted that thing to begin with. And friends, it's not a matter of like spending the money or not, as I've said in previous videos. I am over feeling like we have to deprive ourselves of things that we're interested in just in the name of being frugal. I have a frugal side to me. My husband has a frugal side to him, and we exercise that where necessary. And then we have, like I mentioned before, a budget that we set aside to buy the pendejitas. You remember that? Actually, a friend here, one of you said that you call it the pendejadas. I guess it's the same, type of thing. It's two different ways of saying the same thing. And that's just a Spanish word for like all your little BS items, all your little nonsense off to the side, little things that aren't necessities. Anyway, where am I going with this whole rabbit hole of conversation? Spend the money on what you want to spend it on. The buy one, get one free thing. The fact of the matter is, it's really not something I want to spend on or have, period. So like, why would I want to bring it into my home and create additional clutter when I'm trying to, on an ongoing basis, declutter my space? Hope that makes sense. This other one is, it goes in the same category, but it's a little bit different, and that's makeup and makeup brushes. So over the past 5 to 8 years, your girl has gone bananas buying all manner of, makeup brushes of every kind. Cheap brushes, expensive brushes, natural brushes, synthetic. People I wanted to support, like Wayne Goss. Wayne Goss is a doll. If you don't watch him, you need to watch his channel. And I don't say need to often. You need to watch Wayne. Wayne is he's precious. He is a precious human with a big heart and just a rarity in the crazy crowded makeup space. So I've bought all the brushes a girl could ever dream of and want. I've decluttered a lot of brushes that weren't working for me or that weren't as good as some of the other ones. Same thing with makeup. I went through my completionist phase where I had to have every Pat McGrath big palette, every big Natasha Denona palette, and you can tell me nothing. Look at some of my old videos. I'm like, you'll have to pry this out of my cold, cold, bony hands. Cold hands. Pry it out of my cold, whatever the expression is. Like, I need them all. But I don't need them all. And the fact of the matter is, there were some in each of the collections that I reached for a lot more than others. And so why in the world am I holding on to makeup that I either don't enjoy using because the color story, for example, in an eyeshadow palette, the color story isn't suitable, or I have a hard time every time I use it, just because it's part of the set of a line of things that I am really, really into. So I've broken myself of that and realized I have plenty of makeup. I have everything, y'all. I got 3,486 trillion billion fulfilling foundations, concealers, lipsticks. I got all the blushes and all the colors. I got all the eyeshadow palettes that these two little eyeballs could ever use in their entire lifetime. I got all the stuff. I got all the bronzers. And maybe I actually need to declutter some. So I have slowly decluttered some of the ones that I just know I either don't reach for or that don't suit my personal interest or needs anymore. I still have a very, very large makeup collection, a very large, and I'm talking about all makeup products, primers even. I have like dozens and dozens of face primers. For what? I only have one face. And I have a gazillion brushes. I don't need any more. I don't need any more. So I don't plan on buying any makeup or brushes, but there's an exception. I have a weak spot for Natasha Denona palettes. So if one comes out that suits these eyeballs, I may go ahead and buy that. But for the most part, maybe it's like I hate using no buy and low buy. Those are just not words in my vocabulary. But how about a slow buy? Instead of a low buy, a slow buy. I'll be slower and more deliberate and thoughtful. That's something in my eye as to whether any new makeup will come into my collection, including like if you saw my lipstick collection for these two little tiny lips that are continuing to like diminish in size and thickness as I age. This is craziness. So no more makeup unless there has to be something novel about the thing that is new, unique, and different. Which, look, if you've been playing with makeup as long as I have, you're just not as fascinated with the products that are coming out on the market as maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago when there was this, maybe it was more than that, but this sort of influx of new, different, fun products, and you wanted them all. I'm just not there in that headspace anymore. And then the fourth thing, oh my God, I really don't want to, but I got to do better with the mugs and the tumblers. So I have given some tumblers to Goodwill. Yes, I have pared back my tumbler collection. I had probably 20 to 30 because I have some go-tos. I do. I have some of the Starbucks ones that are in different colors that are seasonal that I just adore. I have some that I got off of Etsy that look like Milky Way, wraparounds with fun colors. And then there were some other just dull ones that weren't doing it for me anymore. And so I've given those away. And I now have the one like 40 ounce that I use nearly every day. I do about 2 of these a day so I can get my water in. And so I'm all set on the tumblers. Mugs are going to be hard because I love mugs and I especially love seasonally based mugs, like fall mugs and Christmas mugs and things like that. But I have plenty and I'm just going to be on a slow buy. Maybe not, I'm not going to purchase, but just very slow buy with the rule that if something from that comes into the house, something's got to go out because I'm out of room. I'm out of room in the cupboards for those things. All right, so then let's go to the things that I plan to buy more of or buy freely this year. One is, and this is going to seem odd, high quality meat, like protein. So, again, even though I talk about I'm going to spend whatever I want, the bottom line is that my husband and I, we both still come from a frugal mentality background. And we're constantly looking like, this is more inexpensive than that one. Especially like when you're looking for steak, let's say that's the highest priced item in that particular shelf. I'm going to give myself permission to get the higher quality steak and bring that home and enjoy that and not feel like we have to cut corners on meat because it does make a difference in the tenderness and the way that things cook once you get it home. And the same thing goes for like quality seafood and all of that. So I just want to be good to ourselves when it comes to that. And I mean, it doesn't mean we have to splurge on like the highest quality T-bone steaks. We don't have to be getting like tomahawk steaks, every time we go out to buy groceries or whatever, but just being better about high quality protein that we're going to actually enjoy cooking at home and it's going to taste really good and give us that great culinary experience in addition to the protein that we crave. Number 2 is, speaking of products, and this seems a little bit contradictory to what I just said, but listen, I'm talking about not buying in volume and not buying backups of things, or in minimal situations and under certain circumstances, I'll do those things. But self-care products, and in particular, buying the self-care products that make me feel good and make me smell good. So let me give you an example. I recently finished 2 Aveda products. This is an expensive line of products, the whole brand. This is the Volumizing Shampoo in Pure Abundance, and this is the Shampure in Shampoo. It brings me joy to use these. They're expensive, but they smell good and they're high quality ingredients. Another brand that I just adore and can't get enough of is Davines. And so I have the Oi shampoo and conditioner, which is like the most amazing smell. My hair feels good. I feel like I'm doing the most that I can to keep my hair in the best condition that it can be in, for example. So I've been watching the Blowout Professor here on YouTube. He's hilarious. He's bald, which is the funny thing, because he's giving women advice on how to style their hair and what products to use or not use. I used to be of the mindset that inexpensive hair products were just as good as the higher end counterparts. Well, I learned recently I was wrong. There's a big difference in the quality of ingredients that are used in products. That's not the case all the time. There are some expensive hair care brands that are giving you crap in their products, and there are some cheap hair care brands that actually give you pretty decent or high-end quality ingredients. But you have to do the research yourself. And the vast majority of brands, when it comes to hair care, you get what you pay for. I didn't believe that in the past. I wanted to believe that that was a myth, and that is just not true. And I have seen and felt the difference in my hair texture, the way that it behaves and performs and lasts from one wash to the next, based on changing products according to his advice. He has this little quiz that he has like in his description box that you can take to see what kind of products work best for you. I did that. I bought the products, I tried it, and I've not gone back. I've not gone back. I have not gone back to cheap shampoo and conditioner. Not that I would never use them again if I had to, but I want to buy the higher end stuff. He made a really good argument in one of his videos about how you can pay less for the inexpensive ones and use 3 times as much product there as you will with the higher end ones that are performing the way that they should, and you're using less product. And anyway, you have to go see his videos. I don't want to get into the whole like science of it or whatever, but I'm convinced. I'm now a believer. That doesn't mean I'm out there buying Orbe $200 shampoo, but I am going to go ahead and splurge for some of the, Aveda, the Davines, the Redken products that are helping my hair behave well. Okay. Same thing with shower products. Like I'm overbuying cheap body wash that doesn't feel good or smell the best rather when I use it. If that means buying a more expensive one that gives me a better showering experience, I'm going to buy that. I'm not going to go crazy about it. And that could mean Bath and Body Works. I might buy one of those, rather than like a cheap $2 one at the supermarket. Nothing wrong with those either. It might be a Dove one or whatever. But the point is I'm going to buy the ones that smell good and give me a good experience. And the same thing is true with candles. I have learned that there are certain brands that burn really well, use higher quality ingredients, and don't put as much gunk into the air and smell really great, versus others that use cheaper materials in the mixture of the wax, and you get an uneven burn down, you get a not so great smell in the end, or this smells chemically or whatever. They put off a lot of soot, they're not well made, the wicks and all of that. So I'm going to splurge for some of the candles that I really enjoy. And if you saw my last video, you know that one of those companies that's emerging as a winner for me is Capri Blue. I'm really, really enjoying those candles. And it's a nice price point. It's not like your $150 candles. Like I haven't gone the diptyque route yet. I might buy a few of those. But Capri Blue, because they run so many sales, I end up getting like the big candles for like between 25 and 35. And that really works for me because they last long, they smell great. It's a wonderful experience all around. So I'm giving myself permission to buy the self-care and home care-ish types of products that feel good, smell good, and that I feel like are worth the extra money. That said, y'all, I still have like my lever soaps in the shower too. So don't get it twisted. I'm just saying I'm going to add in those other ones as I would like. And then the last category is anything that makes my life easier. And the 2 categories that come to mind as subcategories to that are travel things and organization things. And I'm just not going to fuss about it. If I like it and I think it's going to make things more efficient, streamlined, and easy, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to try it. So in a previous video, the Shopping Mania video, as a matter of fact, you saw all of the travel things that I have purchased so that my future upcoming work travel is easier, more organized, quicker, efficient, right at my fingertips, and that they look good. It's aesthetically pleasing and doesn't create stress for me in an already stressful life and world. And the same thing with things that help organize. And so I'm looking around at like this room. I have these bins that are colorful. They have like floral patterns and stuff where I can throw knick-knack, paddywhacks, this, that, and the other to clean up a room super quickly. That type of situation. You know what I mean? The lipstick organizers. So I can have my lipstick standing up and looking good instead of just like thrown in a drawer. Any sort of organization tools that help me organize the things in my life, make them more accessible, more efficient, easier to find, easier to use. I am all for it. And then finally, the last thing that I'm going to willingly buy for myself is good healthcare of whatever kind. Y'all, I am at an age, By the time you watch this video, I will be 49 years old. Yay! So I'm a year away from 50. God willing, I'll make it to 50 and many, many years beyond that. But I'm getting to a point where I need to be a little bit more proactive about my healthcare. The body doesn't work the way it used to. I mean, that includes everything, right? Food, exercise, healthcare. But being a little bit more proactive about some of the health care that I need. I don't know what that means right now, but I'm open to it. Like if that means I need to go visit like an internal medicine specialist, do that. If I want to explore acupuncture, do that. If I want to go get massages and I can afford it and I have the time for it, do that. You know, if I want good women's care, that doesn't just mean going to the gynecologist once a year. Like we got to get out of that mentality that those tests that the medical world says that you have to have on a periodic basis are all that you need to do for your health care. I want to check out my blood work more frequently, once a year, just to see what does my blood panel look like? What is it telling me? Are there other tests that I can look to see if I have certain genes or receptors or whatever the words are for certain kinds of things that may develop in the future? And what can I do about those things now to get myself in a better position? That's some really big talk. That's big talk. Let's see how much of that I actually do over the next year. But I have the intention to take better care of myself and the intent to take the actions to do at least some of that so that I'm better positioned here for the long haul and that I'm taking good care of myself in the same way that I take care of other people. Because I take care, all we ladies do that. We all do this. We take really exceptional care of everyone else in our lives and sometimes neglect ourselves. So that's it. That's it, y'all. Those are the things I am thinking of not buying or buying a lot less, and the things that I plan to buy more of here in the coming year. I hope that you enjoyed this. I really want to hear from you in the comments. Does this resonate with you? And if so, what's something that you don't think you're going to buy a lot of for whatever reason? You don't want to spend the money, or you don't find it useful, or just clutters up your mind and your home? And what's something that you would like to just freely purchase as the whim comes to you? You know, the desire hits you. Let us know in the comments. Take care, friends. See you in the next video.